beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, hello and thank you for joining us. It is indeed a great day to be alive. I'm excited because I'm sitting next to me. Not only she's an entrepreneur, but my God, I'm telling you, she's following her dreams. A writer, director, and producer. You know she has a lot of heart, soul, and passion. Next to me on the couch today on the Tammy Tubbs Show is none other than Jana Haynes. And she's a Mississippi girl, but she's doing some phenomenal things. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I got to touch you.
Thank you so much.
I told you, I want to travel and fly with you. I want to just soar with you. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so did you grow up with this heart and passion to go get her, or was it something that mom said, listen, girl, whatever you can want to do, you can do it?
A little bit of both, nature, nurture. When you grow up around parents, especially a mother like mine who's just a hustler,
Yes.
and just grinds, then you kind of have no choice but to, you pick it up and it just becomes a part of who you are. And you just understand that greatness is the only option. So that's just kind of how, I don't know, my grind and my hustle and my drive, it definitely comes from my family. So my brother has it, my uncle has it, my cousins have it, and some people use it for good. Some people
It's
use it
just
for
in
bad,
your blood.
It's just in me.
You know, your brother, and if he was sitting on the couch, and you got to say my name right, Tam. You got to say my name
Comedian Wody.
right. Wody. That's what
Yeah, W-H-O-D-I is what he says.
Yes, so like you said, and your mom, of course, is a phenomenal judge,
She is.
serving the people. So it's in your blood for greatness, but not only that, to get up and go and make things happen.
Make things happen for yourself. Yeah.
So when did you come up with this dream? Because notice I said a writer, producer, and director. You're making it happen.
It's crazy. My mom tells me all the time, when I was like 5, I said I was going to like write books and things like that. And I've always been, it's always come to me really easily. In school, in college, I'd write papers for people and they paid me.
Oh, wow.
That was like 12 years ago though. So
but it's okay.
On the low. So
that was your hustle.
It was my hustle. But even my mom, coming up in church and doing programs and occasions, and I just wrote it really easily, and I never really saw it. And my mother is always surprised when I say this, but I never saw it as a gift.
Yeah.
I just thought it was something I was good at. Right,
yeah.
absolutely. So I'm 35, but I didn't really start diving into this until about 5 or 6 years ago.
Why? What were you doing before this life?
Everything. I was bartending. I worked at E10, just stuff that did not ignite me.
Income.
Right.
Just to have an
job,
income.
Right. But I just wasn't pushed, motivated, or passionate.
Yeah.
And it's something about your 30s, right? Like you
that
get 30,
transition,
they
you wake
tell you
up.
that, and you're just like, yo, what am I doing,
Yeah.
right? Like, what am I doing? What am I contributing to the world? What type of legacy am I going to leave? What type of mark am I going to leave on the world? And I decided to write, and I started writing a book, and I started doing spoken word.
Yeah. Were you waking up in the middle of the night?
Oh, yeah. All of that.
After work, were you writing?
Yeah. And as a writer, as a creator, you find a story in everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing, even sitting there listening to other interview, there's a storyline.
Your mind is always going, igniting.
Constantly. So it's easy to create and imagine things. So I wrote and I released a spoken word album, released a book, and then I was invited by some former cast members of mine to go to Selma, Alabama, and we were there for a completely different reason. The short version is I was able to meet several civil rights activists.
Isn't that amazing?
And one of them, she had written her own version of Selma the musical. And since it's a historical event, a historical story, there's multiple stories out, right? Like there's the movie Selma and Selma, Lord Selma, and there's a production out of Memphis, and then there's the production that's from Selma. And it was a little long, and she said, you think you could write this? And I was like, maybe, I don't know.
Were you hesitant, or was there a little giddiness,
Both. Like, it's, that's just kind of like when you're on the brink of purpose and greatness. Of course, there's hesitation.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't want to go on the cross,
Yeah.
but he had to, right? That was purpose, right?
It changed everything.
Yeah, so it shifted the paradigm. So I didn't want to do it, but then it was like, there's this opportunity. I called my mom, I called my friends.
What did your mom say? What was
She
the
said,
first
"Do
thing
it."
that she said?
Oh, she said, do it. No question about it. Do it, I call her before all of my big moves, contracts, deals. I'm like, what do you think about this? Because at the end of the day, there's nothing like a praying mama and grandmama,
Because that was my next question I was going to ask. Because so many young people in their 30s, the first thing they say, I'm grown, and they feel like they don't
I'm
need
grown,
their
but
mom.
I need my mama.
I do. When I get sick, do you sometimes still want to be with your mom?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
no, like you have to. There is something about the discernment of that generation.
Absolutely.
They have. You have to.
They hear
They
directly
gotta, like,
from God.
Yeah, they
and
like
almost,
at the throne, at Jesus' feet.
do you sometimes feel she know what you're going to do before you do it?
Yeah, of
and
course.
You get those phone calls?
Always, always. And she'll call me and say things like, I got a bad feeling, or I'm feeling something and I don't know what it is. And sometimes she and I will work through it together. Like,
Yeah.
what is this? Or I'll call her and say, I had a dream about this, or I had a vision about this. But I just, the family that I grew up in, we believe in the power of prayer, but we
Yes.
believe in being God-led and spirit-led, because I tell my cast all the time, we talk about this, just because something is a good fit doesn't mean it's a God fit.
Yes.
So you can have a really great opportunity before you, but if it's not from God, it's still not even
last.
good.
Right.
So, and with people's lives in my hands and people's future in my hand,
Right.
I've got a cast of 15, 20 people. When you have musicians and production assistants and different things like that, I don't want to make a decision
Right.
that's going to affect their lives. They've got husbands and wives and children.
Absolutely.
Because I think this is something I want to do.
Absolutely.
So I have to be led because I'm leading people.
That emotional decision can be
Yeah,
a
man,
disaster.
it'll change the
every-
course of your life.
Absolutely.
So
So let me ask you this. You're on the brink of something major
yeah.
right now in your life. What's going on in Jana's mind? Is it something like, I know this is God? Or is it more hesitant, okay, God, your timing? Because it's nothing like God's timing.
Man, God's timing is, God is not a God of, we created that, right? We created time and space and all of these
Yes.
things. The Bible says a day in our course is like 1,000.
Yes.
So for him, we're like, yo, it's taking, and God's like, no, it's right on time.
Come
it's
on.
exactly where it's supposed to be. You created this construct of time, and you've got anxiety and stress and all of these things. Because I
Yes.
told you to do and be obedient doesn't mean you don't get to know, right? Like, you don't get to know. When I was in New York, I was at Bishop Hezekiah Walker's church a few weeks ago, and I was listening to a minister, and he said that when Peter walked on water, like the struggle, that comes in the middle, right? Because if it comes at the beginning, if your tests and your trials come at the beginning, you can turn around and walk away.
But you never know what's
And
in
if they come at the end, you might just push forward. But
Right.
it comes in the middle when you can't see.
Absolutely
You can't
nothing.
see, and it says it was the third watch, which means it was the darkest time of the hour.
Yes.
And right when Peter began to seek, Jesus grabbed him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So sometimes you just have to. It is like, it's crazy faith. It's astronomical.
You preaching. I'm about to jump out of my seat right now.
We have a word for each season in our lives, in the cast. And
Yeah.
one season it was be still, and one season it was apply pressure. And
What's this word for this season?
astronomical.
Wow.
One of the
Wow.
cast members said the word for this. She said it the other day, and we've been using the word ever since. Astronomical. So sometimes you have to have astronomical faith. You know how many people told us we were crazy
I can imagine.
and told us not to do it?
I
Or,
can
You know how
imagine.
many finances and funds and things, and we didn't
How many
have the
doors
money.
were shut, closed that
Oh
were
my
discouraging?
gosh. This story. This is our testimony is so massive that I can't even go tell you everything. But let me.
We
just,
have time.
Let me just tell you this part of it is, so when I wrote the first time the production, we had 21 days. So we cast. We had 8 people.
Wow.
We rehearsed 5-6 days a week, 8, 10, 12-hour days. We put it on, right? Like, and we're gonna blow up, right? Like Selma the musical. We're debuting at Selma. President Obama had just marched across the bridge in Selma the previous year or the
Yeah.
previous 2 years. So this is a Black History production. We got Broadway potential. This is phenomenal. The writing is good. This
You have
this,
a plan.
We get to Selma. It's like an 800-seater. We're going to do 4 shows, sell out. We're going to be balling. Then we're going to be able to put on more shows. And I sold 15 tickets.
My God.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Tyler Perry first movement
Yeah.
when he was just about to give up.
Oh, yeah. I sold 15 tickets. So I left Selma.
Wow.
And right before I stopped working at my job, so I didn't have a job. My account was in the negative. I left Selma with 15 ticket sales, and
15 tickets.
I was like, "You told me to do this. So it's supposed to not, it's not how it's supposed to go. Like I saw the vision already. Like I saw what you said.
Yes.
It just never goes the way, like just because God shows it to you, then we come up in our mind with how it's supposed to go down.
Yeah.
And that's not how it goes down.
I have to say this because you've been ministering. I hope somebody that's watching this Facebook Live, or those that are you have said so much in regards to faith that I just want to leap out of my seat. Because like you said, Peter walking on the water, sometimes you just have to move. You have to give God something to work with. We put the time limit on
That's us.
ourselves because we're trying to rationalize how, what, and when. But when you said 15 ticket sales, that's like a dagger. Like, wait a minute. But then you reminded God, you said. And what we miss sometimes is what we try to figure out, well, if I would have done this, we didn't do enough promoting, we didn't do enough marketing.
All of it.
God has done everything.
Maybe I heard you wrong.
No, and you say, wait a minute. No, God has done everything he's ever going to do for us.
That's right.
He just takes us to that level, he builds your faith.
Right.
So the next time you understand that, I'm going to trust you.
And it comes back and he reminds you and you're like, okay, that I understand because and it's crazy you say that because I was looking through the hashtags on Instagram the other day. I was searching for a specific video and I found the videos from our first performances and they were horrible.
Yeah.
Like had God given us the thing that we wanted at that time, we were underprepared for the opportunity and we would have squandered it away and lost it.
Wow.
So we were, and I won't say horrible, but by the standards, right, that we have now. And we were like, oh my God, that wasn't as good as we thought.
So God knew.
He knew.
He knew.
Like he knows better than we do.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I was done, right? I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like that was stupid. I lost money. Because I'm using my personal money and I have a home and a family and I've got bills. Like, no, I can't do this. That was in February of 17. Fast forward to August of 17. Well, fast forward to June of 17. I think it was in 17. It could have been 18.
Yeah.
My timelines. But anyway, my brother Mike, he had a stroke. The short version of the story is they called us and said Mike is going to die.
Yeah.
He was bleeding on both sides of his brain. Scott Wody and I were in Hattiesburg, and they said, you guys need to get here. He's not going to survive through the night.
Yeah.
We got here, and then they said, well, you know, he's bleeding on both sides of his brain. He's probably not going to speak, walk, talk. If you saw Mike right now, he'd sit right here and crack jokes with you.
Oh, my God.
Right, that was in June. In August, I had a car accident. I was driving, had a car accident, totaled the car. If you looked at the vehicle, the doctor said, you guys are supposed to die. Like, you weren't supposed to make it.
So your faith is being tested all around you in the midst of what you're believing God to do in your life as a career.
Absolutely.
What's going on in your mind?
But I laid it all down. I was just like, what are you doing? Like, this is crazy. Like, death is on our doorstep, on my family's doorstep. Again, at this time, I still hadn't started working yet. So this is from March. That's right. From March until June, July, August, I started my job, my other job at the time, at the beginning of August, and we had that car wreck on August 27th.
My God.
So I'm just like, okay, what are you doing, right?
Wow. We're going to stop right there. That's a great point for a commercial. Somebody just said, Lord, what are you doing? Confusion, chaos, drama, craziness, don't have a job, can't get to work, my car's, everything is crazy around you. I tell you what, I got a word from you on today, and Jana just encouraged me to say this. When God seems like he's allowing everything to go under, he's up to something.
That's right.
There's no other place to go but up. So rejoice on today and know that God has already worked it out. We're going to come back right after this quick commercial break, and she's going to give you the rest of her testimony. You're going to be surprised. Not even surprised. You're going to be in awe. Astronomical. I'll just say that. Of what God does to shift her life and where he's taking her right now. Stay tuned. back, and I just want to let you know that God will provide. I don't care where you are. You could be at the lowest of the low. Believe me, if you're down to nothing, God is up to something. There's no other place but to go, but up, up, up. And I'm telling you, he will provide. Just knowing that God will provide should give us comfort, right?
Absolutely.
But
It
should, but there are times when we
Yeah.
still be like, where are you?
Yeah, you're
Where
like-
are you? Okay, so let's go back because I'm just like in awe of what you're saying and how God has transitioned you with the Selma musical to be able to go to New York. And when you sat down, I was like, so where are you off to next? Because in the business that you're in, you just never know where he's going to shift you. Just be ye ready at all times.
That's real. The
Yeah.
entertainment industry is just like that. And
Yeah.
I told you, I said tomorrow I could be in Paris or
Yeah.
Vegas or Mississippi. You just never know. The phone
Yeah.
call comes and you have to go. So it's exciting, but
Yeah.
it's
Be ready to move.
Yeah, that's
with
right.
the vision. You
That's
have
right.
to. How important is it for you to have vision?
there's a difference between vision and sight. And
Yeah.
you can have vision, you can have sight without vision, but you can have vision without sight. So you can see things and see the possibility, but you have to be able to have a vision and a plan.
Yeah.
And be able to work the thing that God gave you. And if you pray for, T.D. Jakes said this, I'm not going to take credit for it, but if you pray for a table, God is going to send you the wood and the hammer and the nails. He's not going to give you the table.
Wow.
Right? So he's going to give you the means to do the thing that you've asked of him. So that's your provision.
Right.
But so often we just want God to give us the table.
We want it all together.
Yeah.
Fixed
And we,
ready.
we had a conversation last Sunday with the cast, and I told them that we need to stop praying for the apple.
Oh.
So people will pray for the apple, and the apple is good, right? Like you can eat off of the apple, and you might have one apple, or you might have a bushel, but at the end of the day, at some point you're going to run through your apples.
Right.
So for us, the apple is fame, and the apple is Broadway, and the apple is for money and all of these other things. And I don't know what your apple may be. It could be notoriety. It could be ministry, whatever. But if you pray for the seed, you'll always have the apple.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So the seed will always provide the apple. And the seed is effectiveness. It's ministry.
Yes.
It's life-changing. It's being effective in your gift, your calling, your anointing, and then working those things together. So pray for the seed,
Yes.
and God will give you the apple. The
I
apple
love
is
it.
just a byproduct
Yeah.
of the seed.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's a part of learning that, though, because so often you get on your knees and you're praying for the apple, and I spoke this, and I spoke this, and I spoke my news, and that's fine. That's cool. Don't get me wrong. That's cool. But if you get the seed, you'll never lack the apple.
Wow.
So,
35 with so much wisdom,
well, you have to
so
go
much
through.
insight. Say it one more time.
You have to go through.
I'm telling you. And when you go through, that's where
That's
you
the only time you
begin
can-
to
yeah.
grow and develop. And I tell people there are two ways you can learn: from wisdom, mom telling us,
That's right.
or experiences. I believe those experiences really.
It's something about,
Woo.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like shaking my head listening to you going,
Yeah.
35, you need your own talk show. You need to write even more books, podcasts, radio, everything. Because sometimes this generation, and I'm 42, about to be 43,
Right.
but there's a difference in the generations. If you didn't have that generation like our moms, who were able to impart into us, discipline us with love, and be a hands-on mom,
Right.
there's a difference.
I tell people all the time, I'm considered a millennial, but there's two different types of millennials,
Yeah.
right? Like there's my generation of millennials, but then like the 90s, 91s.
Yeah.
No offense, I'm just saying it's just
That's a
different.
difference,
That's
a
just
major
different.
difference.
It's not a bad difference.
Yeah.
They just see life differently, and there's something to be learned
Yeah.
from them, but there's just a difference.
So
right?
where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
On Broadway. Yeah, we're going to be on Broadway. We'll be traveling the world touring, which we're already
Awesome.
doing, and ministering. It's crazy that we have taken this entertainment value and turned it into this form of ministry. And I just had to accept it, right? Like somebody told me a couple of years ago, you need to accept the fact that you have a ministry.
Right.
And it's not the conventional. And I was like, no, I don't. That's
Why
not
did you
what I
not
do.
want to just receive that?
Because people have
The word ministry?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Because it's the perception. It's the
Absolutely.
perception of people, the church, social media, whomever, that ministry has to be behind
A
a pulpit
pulpit.
or in a church and four walls. And let me just tell you, I just don't fit into that construct. That's
Yeah.
just not who I am.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I believe in assembling and worshiping. I believe in going to church.
Right.
But as far as me building a ministry, it's not within four walls.
Right.
So when you say ministry, I'm just like, hold up.
When you show up, you minister.
That's not what.
Lives of people
Right.
today have been empowered.
Right.
And when you sat down, I said, I need you to share so
Right.
I don't have to talk. Did
Right.
I not say that?
You did.
Because I felt there was something dear on your heart that
Yeah.
needed to be expressed. And I'm
Right.
so grateful that I can hear from God.
Thank you.
Because many times as talk show hosts, it's almost like we feel like we have to be in the spotlight.
Sure.
No,
Sure.
today I wanted to make sure that I heard directly from God. And
Yeah.
you have been like pouring. And for
Thank you.
those that are watching, I know that your cup is running over.
Thank
I
you.
mean, literally, to be 35, the wisdom, the insight that you have, and to know that you are a God-fearing woman, that you don't move
Right.
unless God tell you to move.
Right.
I'm just speechless right now. And I'm just loving what God is doing in your life and how you're taking the bull by the horns and trusting God through
Right.
the process.
Right.
That's the biggest. And you have your family as a support. It's just a blessing to be able to see.
Thank
and
you.
you're coming back home to Mississippi, although you're traveling abroad,
Right.
to say, hey, you can do it.
Right.
Because April 6th, you all have a musical that's coming up that you have
Yeah.
quite a bit of influence on. I'm excited. I think I'm going to actually sneak in to see
Yes.
what you're doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I'm one of those, I like to kind of sneak in to see from the
Right,
back.
right.
But just tell us more so that those that are intrigued by you, because I know their eyebrows are raised right now because
Right.
I'm telling you, you've been speaking it.
Right.
Tell us more about April 6th and your expectation and how we can connect with you.
Selma the Musical, The Untold Stories. We've been on tour for the better part of 2018. We've taken a break here. So Tupelo is actually our first show of 2019.
Wow.
Like I said, we've been in New York. We've got some deals and some residency deals that we're trying to finish up and put a bow on and tie up. So we kind of put a halt on some of the performing.
Right.
But we decided to come back to Mississippi. And Tupelo, Amory, it's all home for me. North Mississippi is home for me.
Yeah.
So I wanted to come back home. It's important to me to come back here often.
Why is it important? Because most celebrities, when they leave, either forget about Mississippi, they'll say that they're not a native of Mississippi. Why is that dear to your heart?
Because I'm Mississippi made.
Right.
Right? Like I wouldn't be where I am without the teachings and the people all over. My mom took me everywhere. Every church, every Spring Hill District building, every convention, good gosh, everywhere.
And it has made
And there
you
are
who you
so
are.
many people who will never know that just one impartation
Yes, ma'am.
at 12, 13, 14, 15 is what helped me catapult me into the woman that I am today. So there's a kid, a 16-year-old kid that's about to graduate high school somewhere. There's or a 40-year-old woman somewhere maybe who's lost hope, who's in Mississippi and like, yo, I'm in Mississippi, I'm in Tupelo, I'm in Amory, I'm in Verona, I'm in Aberdeen. What can I do? You can do this.
Yeah.
You can do exactly what God called you to do. And I just feel I owe it.
Yeah.
You owe it to the people who poured into you.
And it's a part of your legacy. That you're
Yeah,
leaving.
absolutely.
The
So
impact that you're
the
making.
more that I can do at home, and it'll only grow. I have a lot of plans. I have a lot of stuff that I want to come back here and do. But it's just something about coming home. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm always gonna claim Ren. Highway 45 North. You know, like I don't get
love
it.
it.
But you're right. It happens
love
all
it.
the time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll be in Tupelo. We'll be right
Absolutely.
here. April 6th. The doors open at 6. The show starts at 7 at Tupelo Performing Arts Center. Selma the Musical, The Untold Stories. We've been all over. We'll
Wow.
be in Tupelo on the 6th and Coldwater on the 7th. Facebook, Instagram, you can find us there. The www.selmatupelo.eventbrite.com, www.selmacoldwater.eventbrite.com.
Yes.
You can get the tickets there. The flyers are there. The information is there. There's videos. Go to YouTube. Our Good Morning America videos on YouTube.
Yes.
We were blessed enough to be featured on Good Morning America twice. So there's a lot of.
That's called the favor of God. You know how many people with the
Yo.
wrong motives would love to be on Good Morning America.
And the story behind it is
But
even
God.
is a but God story. So it's not us. It's not because we're so great. It's because God is so good. But the
Yes.
cast is stupid talented. They are so incredibly amazing. They are astronomical. They
That's
are
the word.
so talented. You will not be disappointed. And we did the show in Amory of last year, but it's a new show, it's a new cast, it's a new script, it's new music. So if you saw it before, you have not seen it like this.
Yeah.
And there is one thing I can stand behind, and the reason I speak so boldly and so confidently is because, one, I know God called us to do this, and it's not about us, but
Yeah.
two, they're stellar.
Yeah.
They're a Broadway cast, they're award-winning cast. And we want to bring that here. We want to bring it to Tupelo.
Bring it back home.
Yeah.
That's the blessing of
Yeah.
it. When you come back home,
Yeah.
you've shown so much love. And then when you go and you make it in your own Hollywood Boulevard, and when you're out there in New York, and you come back home and say, that's my girl.
You have to.
The worst feeling in the world is when you say you're from Mississippi and people say, who is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so-and-so's little girl. Who? No,
your mom.
right. So you're putting the foundation down
Yeah,
now.
you have
so
to.
we know who you are. So I can say, honey, that's my girl. I have a picture with her.
Yeah.
I remember in 2019.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Last words that you want to say for somebody that's ready to take a leap of faith, because time is eluding us. We have about 1 minute left.
Okay.
Just words of wisdom for somebody that's ready to take that leap of faith right now.
Do it.
Wow. That's simple.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Prayerfully do it.
Yeah.
Seek, discern, pray. I don't care what anybody says. If it's your mother, your father, your husband, your brother, your sister, if God told you to do it, only if God told you to do it. I don't care what anybody else tells you, because they're going to tell you that you're crazy.
Yes.
Just a couple of weeks ago, somebody told me you might just need to lay it down.
That's when you know to turn it up.
Yeah, that's right. So do it.
Yeah.
Being led by God, do it.
Yeah.
And he'll order your steps. He'll throw people in your life. It's crazy. Like favor will follow. You don't
I
even
love
have to
this
worry.
child. She's so full of the
You don't even
words,
have
so
to
full
worry.
of wisdom. I tell you, Mom, Adrian Haynes, Judge Adrian, you've done a phenomenal job. Daddy Haynes, you've done a phenomenal job. I'm just like, God, do it.
Do it.
Whatever you desire, do it.
Thank you.
I'm just going to just touch and agree with you right now, because I feel that it's going to be 10 times greater than you ever imagined or
Thank
thought.
you. I
Godspeed.
receive
God
it.
is about to supersede your expectations.
Thank
You ain't seen nothing yet.
thank
You're
you.
scratching the surface. And because you're so humble, that's why he's going to do it.
Thank you.
It's not even about you. There are times you cry and your cast don't even know it, because you're like, God, I got to take care of them.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
God has you covered.
Thank you.
God has you
Bless
covered.
you. Thank
oh,
you.
I love you.
Thank
well,
you.
you guys, my time is definitely up. I hope that you've been empowered, inspired, but you're ready to do it, to get up and do the very thing that God has told you to do. And some people are saying, don't do it. That's when you know to do it.
That's right.
Walk out in faith and let God be God. And I'm telling you, he will do exceedingly abundantly above all you could ever ask or think. Just trust him. I love you. God bless you. And remember, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Until then, be blessed.
It's a beautiful day. Yeah.